that didn't get the opportunity. And it's because Tim Tebow, is this nice guy. He's this great guy. And really, really resented that fact, man. From, let's see, Finance Johnny, I don't see the BPA voting link in the Facebook group. Anybody else? It's there. It should be there. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Let me make sure it's there. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. No, it's there. It's there. It's in the WSME group. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Let me make sure and see if we got votes, if something's not wrong with this thing. Hocus pocus. Yeah. We've got over 30 votes right now, so we're good. We're Gucci. Let's see. So Finance Johnny, it is in the chat room in the Doug Stewart Show Facebook chat group, so go and vote. From Sidney Jackson, the Brett Favre coverage is when I turned off ESPN for good, when they kept sending Susie Colbert down to kill Mississippi to see if the diva selfish-ass quarterback was retiring. I was done. Nobody at this organization's called Favre out on his crap. Right. A lot of people, a lot of things people that ESPN talks about, man, will turn you off. Tim Tebow's a great example. Brett Favre's a great example. And these are two cats that I quote-unquote was over the top with and talking about and not having a glowing opinion about when we were on TV. Part of the reason maybe that we are on radio and TV right now, like we talked about a lot yesterday. And I didn't give a rat's ass about Brett Favre. And I mean, those cats up there thought it was appalling. That it was appalling that I thought that Brett Favre got so much coverage. And I'm sure a lot of people thought it was appalling. I used to get emails all of the time. How could you say that about Tim Tebow? How can you say that about the great Tim Tebow? Man, fuck Tim Tebow. Lawd 504. Tebow would be a good fit for the Falcons. Yeah. Tiger Woods is another example. From Emmett Bean, he says Tiger Woods is another example. From that ninja, every white center that has ever existed is a good example. We talking about overhyped? You talking about white centers in the NBA? Bill Walton, I don't remember him playing. I'm trying to think. There aren't that many white centers that played in the NBA that I can think of. Kelly Olynyk, the center for Boston right now. I mean, it's very far and few between. From Sidney Jackson, nobody is effing Tebow's virgin. Oh, boy, that is funny. From LD, we are Tyrone from the D. He says, true on McCaffrey at that ninja. Oh, yeah, I did a video. This is another example. And not to the degree of Tim Tebow, though. The media doesn't love Christian McCaffrey to the degree that they love Tim Tebow. It's not even close. It's not even in the same hemisphere, stratosphere, whatever sphere is the highest. It's not even in the same one of those. But Christian McCaffrey, I did a little video, man. I think Christian McCaffrey is a good player, but I think that he's overhyped. I don't think that scat backs get drafted in the top 10 picks. That was the conversation, is should he go in the top 10 picks? There's plenty of players that played like Christian McCaffrey in college and were considered third down scat backs, and they returned punts and kicks in the NFL, that had done and had some of the great stats. I mean, the high end of that is Reggie Bush, and even Reggie Bush hadn't really lived up to where he was drafted in the NFL draft. So, I mean, we know the games that the media play. We definitely know. From Lawd 504, who's up for a Boiled Peanuts Award, by the way. It says, trying to help y'all out, Sid and Jam. From Snellville, you funny, Lawd. What did Sid and Jam say to warrant that remark? from Gilliard Rose finds Class A baseball. That's the B team level of the majors compared to B team and high school level. Wow. Yeah. From Sidney Jackson, Doug ishing all over Tebo, though. Laugh out loud. I mean, I never understood it. I've never understood it. And it's a lot of times, it's kind of like what's going on with this Dustin Johnson thing right now. Like, it's almost like an unwritten rule that you shouldn't keep it real and give an honest opinion about certain guys in the media, in the mainstream media. You know, like I talked about a little bit earlier. I gave or got a lot of grief from people for giving the other side of Tim Tebow. And I always had to lead off with, listen, Tim Tebow might be a great guy. I always had to do that. I always had to do that to make people understand that this thing wasn't personal. I'm giving an honest opinion. Now, my opinion may not be what your opinion is, or for that matter, 99% of sports media, but it's my opinion, and guess what? For the most part, it was true. Everything that I said about Tim Tebow, you know, being overhyped and overrated was true as hell. I mean, think about it. Like everybody else was ignoring the elephant in the room that this guy sucked. I came on TV and on radio daily, and I said, Tim Tebow sucks. Oh, cats were mad at me because I told the truth and shamed the devil. They didn't like to hear that. Oh, Brett Favre. Brett Favre is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Man, Brett Favre ass. Whatever. Brett Favre got a cannon of an arm. Okay, he's got the numbers, he's got the longevity, but would I want Brett Favre over probably 25 other quarterbacks? Hell to the no. I don't give a damn about his numbers or anything. And if you're new to the show, you will learn this about me very quick. I don't give a damn about numbers. I use my eyes, okay? And my eyes tell me in looking at Brett Favre, my eyes tell me in looking at Tony Romo, that they will throw a game away just as quick as they will win you one. And I'm from the old school. We don't tolerate that shit. Period. Right. And because I give an honest opinion about Brett Favre, never said Brett Favre didn't deserve to go in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Never said Brett Favre didn't deserve to be talked about as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Based on his numbers and what he did in winning a Super Bowl and playing deep into the playoffs for many, many years, yeah. And once again, there's so many quarterbacks that I would take before Brett Favre. There's so many quarterbacks that I can think of that if you put with the Green Bay Packers during that era when Brett Favre was doing what he was doing, would have won more Super Bowls. That's the point. Everybody, oh, you better not talk bad about Brett Favre. You better not talk bad about no Tony Romo. Man, damn Tony Romo and Brett Favre. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I just didn't play the game well, I guess. You know what? I take that back because, you know, like I said yesterday, all things good things come to an end. Maybe our run was up, you know. People thought when we first started we were going to be on radio for a week or two and they were going to take us off. Man, we did radio for close to 12 years straight. We did radio close to 12 years straight. We did ESPN for over 5 years, almost 6 years. Right, so I mean, what? I mean, my opinions, they work for a long, long time. How about that? They may not. I guess maybe they didn't work at the end of the tenure. They may not have worked at the end of the tenure, but they damn sure work for Stewart Media and Entertainment. How about that? Yeah. Period, point blank. Right. Yeah, it worked for a long time, way longer than a lot of our detractors thought. Oh, these guys will be at 15 minutes of fame. And then a year passed by. And then 3 years pass by. And then 5 years pass by. And then 8 years. They still talking. Oh, man, they're going to have just 15 minutes of fame. Those stews ain't nothing. Well, whatever. From RC, there's not an athlete that I despise more than Brett Favre. So you can only imagine how I felt when the Vikings signed their most hated rival. From Sidney Jackson, Wody, yep, he did. And their other favorite, Peyton Manning. Oh, that's another one of their favorites. Peyton Manning. Y'all notice how this whole Peyton Manning throwing his nuts on this chick face has just been buried? Like, whenever you see Peyton Manning now, and it's crazy. Same thing with this Dustin Johnson story, which I want to touch upon that when we get back a little bit more. But it's convenient how stories are reported. It's very interesting and convenient how stories are reported for one person and how the exact same scenario for another person is reported way differently. And they make sure and footnote the fact that this person had this issue back in the day. You know? Like, this thing is just being totally ignored right now about Dustin Johnson being a junkie. It is. If you watch any TV, any sports media, the Puppet Factory, I don't care what it is. Like, they have not even mentioned, like, as a reference point. That's it. That's the term that they use. That's the term. So whenever something happens like this with Dustin Johnson, yeah, it may have just been the case that he tripped and hurt his back to a degree where he couldn't play in the Masters. But as a reference to this story and to this particular person, they always mention, yeah, he was suspended for golf for 6 months and he was a junkie and an alcoholic. And you kind of do what you will in your mind as the reader to maybe the fact that a guy fell down the stairs, which most people in the world never do. I would say 99% of the people listening to this show right now have never fell down some stairs unless they were drunk or high. That maybe one may have something to do with the other. And you know what? You may say to yourself, well, they shouldn't do that in the first place. When they do that with other athletes, I don't agree with it, so they shouldn't do that in the first place. That's true, but that's already the precedent that's been set. Is that whenever an athlete does something and something else has happened in their life that kind of connect the two, they make reference to it. They are totally not making reference to the fact that Dustin Johnson just a couple of years ago was a junkie. Not that it does have anything to do with the other, but maybe it does. We just need to remind you. That's the way it's usually been done in the past. But for some reason, not with this story. But we'll remind you on the Doug Stewart Show. We'll remind you. Yeah. We will remind you. That's what we do here. We keep it real. We give you honest opinions. Simple as that. Back in 3 minutes, the Doug Stewart Show.
My swag's on the Richter scale. 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 And I be sweating out the tail, 10 pounds. Oh yeah, I be sweating out the tail, 10 pounds. Oh yeah, I be sweating out the tail, 10 pounds. Oh yeah, I be sweating out the tail, 10 pounds. Okay, I am Mr. Greatness. You may wanna take this. Introduce me to a scale, I guarantee I break it. Introduce me to a beat, I guarantee I rape it. Earthquake flow, 2012 Doomsday beat. I'm a cool kid, and you are just a stepchild. I am so sci-fi, bringing out the X-Files. Label me the true troublemaker in the booth. There's a hole in my ceiling, cause my swagger through the